Roosters 6, Knights 20 at the SCG. Barney stats, and then you can give your thoughts here.
Ollie.
Oh, now, for the record, we'll get this out of the way now. Ollie did tip the Knights 13 plus and had $50 on it.
And the $40 in the punting disaster class.
Punting disaster class, which we'll get to in the preview show. So he has well and truly owned us. Well done, Ollie. Going out in the high as you travelling the next world.
1 try to the Roosters, 4 to the Knights. 0 out of 1 conversions, played 2 out of 4, and 1 out of 1 penalty goals for the Roosters. We had 66% completion for the Roosters, 76% for the Knights. 26 out of 39 sets, played 32 out of 42. 0 line breaks for the Roosters to 7 from Newcastle. 13 tackle busts, played 35. 5 offloads to 12. 2 forced dropouts from both teams, 0 40-20s. 392 tackles made by the Roosters, 329 made by Newcastle. 1 ruck infringement by Newcastle, 1 inside the 10 by the Roosters. 7 penalties conceded from both teams. 12 errors played, 11. A sin bin for the Knights. Watson with 53 tackles, Randall with 50, Manu with 172 running metres, and Gagai with 200. Billy Smith missed 5 tackles, made 10. Walker missed 5 and made 14. And Clune missed 4 and made 17.
How, David Warren Harvey, how
Anthony.
do you, who's he? How do you correlate a team we all tipped wouldn't win a game this year being as dominant as they were against a team we, 3 of us, tipped to win the comp?
Well, I did mention that I didn't think they'd get smacked a lot of times just because of how strong their forward pack was, and their forward pack was even better than I thought it was going to be in this game. Their forward pack absolutely dominated a Roosters forward pack. Not full of stars anymore, but there's some really good top-tier players in that forward pack, and they got bent back and proverbially bent over by this Newcastle team. They were fantastic. Frizzell, Clemmer, Jacob Saifidi, Barnett, even Fitzgibbon looked like a superstar in this game. And they just ran roughshod over the Roosters pack. Radley was probably their best player until he knocked himself out on old mate's shoulder in that first 15, 20 minutes, just with strong defence. And he actually probably looked like the only ball player they had for the entire match while he was out there. The Roosters' ball playing was woeful. Their whole attack seemed to be 1 pass, 2 pass, run on a 45-degree angle and get tackled.
Yeah.
That was basically all I saw out of the Roosters the entire night. It was either hit it straight up through the middle or pass and run at 45 degrees until you get tackled. I did not see much else out of the Roosters.
Yeah, it was. At the end of the day, mate, it's easy to say in hindsight, but perhaps it was a bit arrogant to not play any of these blokes in trials and then expect them to stump up.
I was just about to say, did the Roosters treat it as a bit of a trial, thinking they were playing the Knights and, you turn up and you play 50% and you win?
Yeah.
Because a lot of their stars weren't cited in the trials.
Yeah.
So was it sort of a trial in the sense of, we think we'll win anyway?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, in terms of that, but yeah.
Yeah, so do we just pen it as such, or do we
I
get more
think
away?
you probably won't want to get a real good read on the Roosters till probably round 5 or 6, just going off that performance, because that was nowhere near what we know that they can do. If they're not getting back up to where they were last year by the rounds 4 and 5, then there's definitely concerns.
Yeah. Concerns over the halves. So they're both running halves. Will they work it out? Does one have to be more dominant?
I think Walker has to go to 7 and Keary has to go to 6.
Well,
Keary just seems to thrive on more time, whereas Walker sort of is an opportunist where he kicks and passes first, and then if an opportunity presents itself, he can run. Whereas Keary needs to run into the line to set up his men on his outside.
I don't know if someone's pulled rank there or something, but I sort of felt the same. Because, obviously Walker did it for all of last year. He did it fine. So maybe they've overthought that.
Look, I wouldn't pen them. Again, they were another side that made too many errors. All of the Roosters' tries, Knights' tries came from errors. Like Tedesco let a ball bounce, then dropped it. Wairea Hargreaves put a short ball to Taki Aho, and they just let it sit on the ground, and Clifford just strolled through. The other try was from an error as well. Gagai was really good.
Awesome.
Probably the best club game of footy he's played for a long time. He played like he had a Queensland jersey on. But I wouldn't be penning the Roosters. on that performance. Let's see how they go this week against Manly. I think that's a good barometer this week.
Yeah.
Both teams were ordinary last week and won't want to go 0-2. So I think you'll get to see a little bit about what both teams are about this week in terms of moving forward. I'm actually glad I didn't watch the game live. I taped it and watched it later because it was the races were on. So I'm sort of glad I could fast forward through bits. Like people will get to a game later and people will say it was the worst game of the round. I thought that it was the worst game of the round because it wasn't close even.
Yeah.
Like at least the game we're going to talk about as the worst game of the round later. At least it was close. You watched it because it was close. That was not close. The Roosters weren't really in the game. I'm concerned that they've got the two small bodies in the one side. I think that they'll probably work in attack, but Keary and Walker, they're going to have Crichton and Tupanua are going to have to do a lot of defensive work to cover them in defence, and they don't have the Morrises there out wide that were the best two defenders in the backs going around that were out there as well to sort of lend a hand. They've got like Billy Smith and Manu, who's a very good player, but has got an error in him. And like Billy Smith only played a handful of games. If Billy Smith doesn't play, you've got Suwali, who's a kid that's going to be playing out there. So, look, does it blunt their attack?
Well,
on the edges, having these blokes having to make extra tackles.
Oh, absolutely, it does.
You made the exact point I was going to make, is that Tupanua this year, I think I said it last week, is going to be badly exposed because he's not a workhorse defensive.
He's not a type of player.
Back rower. He's a try-scoring back rower, but he's going to be run off his feet a lot, covering, as you said, covering these blokes. He might end up off the bench the way they're going. I think Takiao should be starting in this pack too, but that's a different story. And I thought Jared just looked a bit slow and old and average, but he's done that before.
The whole team looked pretty slow, realistically, in this game. The Knights made them look slow.
They were underdone. That's why I'm thinking, was it a trial?
I think you're right.
They looked like a racehorse that was a runaway.
Yeah.
That were being prepped for later in the season. So I don't know. But it looked like that they were underdone.
Yep. So, anything to add, Cal?
No, I was going to bring up the halves. I'm just not convinced on Walker-Keary combo. I just don't think there's a lot of kicking in that. I don't think there's a lot of game management in there. Like, obviously, I really like Keary, but not sure on the combo. And I'm not sure on Tupanua either. I'm not convinced. Never have been. He's a bit like Ola Kawatu, but a bit more of a cat, I'd say.
I can't imagine him changing the combo, but what's the, we might be getting closer to Teddy moving to 6.
Dom Young as well for Knights, very good.
I was just about to mention him, actually. He showed glimpses last year. This is probably his best performance in the NRL by a fair way.
Love Dom Young.
If you can build on that, he's a big body out there. He's got something to offer. So,
3 points to Gay Guy.
Yes.
Well, I never thought there'd be a day where I would be agreeing with Gagai 3 points in a club game.
He was tremendous. He pulled him apart so many times.
He ripped him apart.
Yeah. Every time he touched the ball, he looked like he was going to run past somebody.
Like we said, if the Knights were to win, Ponga would get 3 points. Well, Ponga won't get
nothing.
He won't get a point. Nope.
I had 2 Frizzell, 1 Clifford, but I'm happy to
I had it the other way around.
I'm happy to be over.
Either way for those, but they were the best 3 players on the field.
Go Clifford 2 and
Yeah.
Frizz 1.
Frizz 1.